And we are live. Hello, hello, everyone. Our cat sounds like he escaped from the other room. Shall he be here? Shall he not? Probably he's going to be here anyways. So, test. Yep, mic is working. So, hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to wait just a few seconds before officially starting. And I am quickly going in the meantime through the incoming questions that already have been submitted from people who cannot attend today's meeting. Those are the ones that we are going to answer whenever there's no live active question in the chat. So you have a heads up on that. And it's weird, I cannot hear myself because I have my headset in. Okay, now it's better. Okay, I can hear myself. I couldn't hear myself with the headset in because it has this noise cancelling thingy on, which I love. By the way, I'm also curious on your end, guys, if you want to share any productivity tips on your end. What is something new that it works for you? Because lately I've been testing a few things, one of them being the headsets. I'm always having them in whenever I'm starting my day because it blocks out all the noise. The second thing, I have a stopwatch. That is basically I'm just Googling and typing stopwatch, and the first thing that comes up, I believe this is Google's native stopwatch. I would click on the timer and I'm always putting 25 minutes in and I am starting and I'm working against the timer, which is apparently helping a lot with productivity. Okay, we're waiting just one more second, pulling the questions here. So I have them in front of me. Sorry about that. My throat seems to give up just a bit on me today. I will still do my best as usual. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And I think officially we should be starting because it's 1 and 2 minutes. So hey everyone and welcome. My name is Noemi. I am going to be hosting this AMA PPC session today. All the topics, it's going to be Amazon PPC related. Those are the ones that I'm going to prioritize. However, any other questions that you have that are business related, would be happy to answer them. Quick feedback on me. Who am I and why am I here with you today? I started 5 years ago Amazon PPC. I learned on my own. I learned from basically us launching our own private label brand and learned all the mistakes possible on my own money. So today I'm going to share with you all my learning lessons, and whenever you're asking me something, it is based on experience. So just a heads up on that. While questions are coming up, I'm going to go through this list that is also submitted from people who could not attend the event, but they had these questions, so I'm going to answer those as well. And if you see that you submitted your question and I still did not answer the question, just feel free to submit it again. Sometimes the comment section questions are coming through, other times they don't. So just feel free to drop them here in the chat section. We are streaming this event both on LinkedIn and also on YouTube. So questions might be coming from both platforms. Okay, double checking. Yes, the mic is on. So I'm going to quickly rearrange my screen here. I have a huge monitor that I'm looking at. And there you go. First questions are coming in. Brilliant. Love it. Sadia is asking, how was your experience as a beginner? I am myself so asking. Thanks so much for asking that. Yeah, it was a very interesting experience. To be frank with you, when you are at the beginning and when you're learning skills that you had no clue about, you're going to take up so many things yourself and you're going to think that you're invincible, which is the case. Probably you started from the beginning, you're wearing all the hats, which is very, very important. Now, very important thing is that when you're starting from the beginning, something that I wish that I would have done it more consciously is sitting back just a bit and realizing which are the skills that I'm naturally already good at, which are the skills that I'm okay at, which are the skills that I am zero good at, so I don't have any knowledge in it, and then which are the skills that I definitely don't want to do them. And then make a list for yourself based on these, and then understand which are the things that you should be doing and which are the things that you should be looking up for someone else to help with. And really important for me, I think, when I started, I knew no SEO, I knew no PPC, I knew no creatives, I knew no like dealing with suppliers and manufacturing. And back when we started, we were we were outsourcing manufacturing to this company in China and had those back and forth with them as well. So there were a lot of things that happened, and I was working quite a lot. By quite a lot, I mean at least 80 to 90 hours just to per week, just to follow up with everything. So what I wish I knew back then is which are my skills that I'm naturally good at and which are the skills that I should be using. I had a lot of soft skills, which means that I was good at talking to people, I was good at following up, I was good at even negotiating. So those were the things that I was naturally good at. But then there are also some things that you would have to learn on your own unless you have the money to outsource. For me, it was I will wait, because you replied, I feel like swimming without knowing how to swim. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But your courage that you're starting right away and you are just like, no, I'm here, I'm going to learn this, that is going to put you in front of so many people who become complacent just because they think that now they know. Right? Also, in today's session, what I'm going to prioritize, especially, is even beginner questions, because most of the time, what I've seen, again, me from a beginner's point of view, what I've noticed is that there were a lot of beginners in all these groups that I was participating in that were e-commerce focused. But what they never did is they never spoke up. They never asked their question. They were afraid that their questions are going to be stupid or sound stupid, or they are going to come across as if someone who doesn't know. And this is going to be a huge pressure, especially if you just started and miraculously you're successful and you're doing a lot of money, or aka you're producing a lot of revenue, because we don't know yet if you're doing a lot of money, right? So that's the first thing that I would love you to do. Ask questions, as many as you can. Can you share the best sources to learn? To be honest with you, even these sessions, the AMA sessions that we have right now, great source for you to learn. Ask all the questions. This would be a great way. Now, it really depends on what is the specific skill that you want to learn. So here in today's session, we are learning Amazon PPC. I'm of course going to answer even like questions that are business related. How are you getting your first employee? How are you going to outsource specific skills that you don't have yet, but you might have the budget for? So those are also the questions that I'm going to answer. How I appear. Can you elaborate just a bit more when you say how I appear? So if you mean that how you could be live on the session, we are not allowing right now that option, but you can write in the chat your question. So PPC, okay. So how I appear PPC, that's the last thing that I'm seeing from you. Feel free to ask the questions that you would have for PPC. But I think that is the best way for you to start asking the question. And because you wrote PPC, and I'm more than happy to also share regards PPC. And also here, there's a great beginner question that comes down to PPC, is where do I start? I'm completely new. Where do I start when it comes down to PPC? Start by asking, okay, what should I know when it comes down to PPC, and what should I not even spend time on? Reason for that is because when I learned PPC, I had access to all these YouTube videos, all these, gurus and so on, and this is how to do it. And what that's like there were flashy hacks that once that I applied to my account, for some reason, some of the things worked, but no one really explained to me basics, fundamentals. So for you, if you want to learn the skill of PPC, understanding this, you would need to understand the basics, the fundamentals. And by basics and fundamentals, what I mean is, all right, so what type of campaigns can you create? And then what type of ad types are there, right? So there are sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display. There's also sponsored TV right now in Amazon. Now, knowing this already puts you in front of way many more people who are just asking, give me the best Amazon PPC strategy. So now that you understand those, you would see when would I use each of them when, for example, you're launching your product. What I would highly advise first to start with sponsored product ads. For sponsored product ads, okay, now what should I know about them? There are two ad types there. It is auto campaigns and manual campaigns. So auto campaigns is going to be everything that Amazon is going to suggest that is relevant for your product. Manual campaigns are going to be all the keywords that you or anyone else who you or anyone else would be typing whenever they're looking for your product and buying your product with. So by you knowing this, I'm telling you, you are ahead of so many other sellers who are just starting. They are trying to run their PPC ads and they're just like copy pasting whatever is going on. Because now you put thought behind why you are doing something and when would you be doing something. Okay, so what should be my first step? Yeah, I'm just walking you through, first off, understanding the ad types. What are the ad types? As I was saying, sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display, and then sponsored TV. The last three, for now, just forget about it. Learn sponsored products. Most of the brands that even we are managing and taking over, like 80% of them are running only sponsored product ads. These are the ones that are going to be the highest relevant for whatever sales you want to produce, right? Because these are also the ones that are going to help you best with ranking organically if whoever is going to search a search term that is going to convert on Amazon, it's going to rank you up organically, right? So those are the things that you should be knowing. And then the second thing, now that you understand, okay, what ad types are there, what campaign types are there, it's going to be bidding. How much should you bid? And then when it comes down to bidding, it's really important for you to know the cost of your product. And once that you know the cost of your product, then you would be just calculating. Take a spreadsheet and calculate, okay, so this is for how much I want to sell my product. Let's say you want to sell it for $50. Now from those $50, you would calculate backwards. Okay, these are my production costs. So cost of goods sold, production, shipping, whatever, any other cost that you would have that is highly likely related to the product. And then ideally you're going to remain with the net margin. So that net margin is going to be transformed into a percentage, which is going to become our break-even ACOS. Now, once that you learn that, now you understand, okay, so anything that you're spending above that break-even ACOS, it is more than you can afford. Anything that is below that, it is less than you can afford. So those are really, really important things that you can be learning. And then once that you understand bidding, you would look into, okay, so how many keywords should I be adding to my campaign? For example, if you're going to do manual campaigns, very important. If you have a very small budget, just five keywords, try with 5 keywords, see how they are working, see how they are converting. And then if they are not converting at all, you would look into, is it because these keywords are irrelevant? Is it because I have no chance on converting on these because my competitors are selling their products for $20 and I'm selling it for $50? Is it because I am shipping FBM and they are shipping FBA? Is it because I have the one image and they have 5 images, A+ content? So there are like a lot of things that you're going to learn, and that's why I'm saying I'm not going to discourage you that no, there are not a lot of things. I'm saying just bit by bit, step by step, understand first off what you need is a product, a good product. For the good product, you're bringing the eyeballs via PPC, which is marketing. Once you brought the eyeballs, the creatives, all the pictures that you have on the listing, and all the keywords that you have on the listing are going to persuade someone to buy or to not buy. And then basically inventory. So if you're set up with inventory for at least a month and a half, even 2 months ahead, then you can be confident that, okay, now I can start bringing eyeballs to the listing and then hoping that those eyeballs are going to convert. So this is going to be in a super nutshell of whatever I learned for the past 5+ years. So yes, ad types and then campaign types, those are important for you to understand. And then manual campaigns and then automatic campaigns. So those are going to be really important for you to learn. Okay, some more questions are coming in. I'm going to answer them. Feel free to drop any more questions if you have, Sadia, in the chat. So how do I actually optimize my Amazon PPC campaigns to increase profit instead of just getting clicks? Love the questions, very insightful. So what is really important when it comes down to optimization? This is also a question that I got, or a similar question that I got for our last session. It's going to be very important for us to know how much can we optimize until we are optimizing too much that we are just going to decrease our sales as well. So when it comes down to Amazon PPC campaigns to increase profit instead of just getting clicks, it's going to be very important for you to understand how much your click costs right now. So the cost per click, how much can you optimize that? Like how much can you reduce that? So you're going to get the same amount of sales, not less sales. And then when it comes down to instead of just getting clicks, it's going to be very, very important once that you're going to optimize things. What I'm noticing on my end, most people, they're trying to force one specific ACOS on their account, giving you super clear example. Say that right now, the keywords that or the campaign that you're currently running, it's converting at 80% ACOS. Now you would optimize your bids bit by bit, day by day maybe, or every 2 days, you would lower that with 5%. And then you're going to take attention to your sales. Are your sales staying the same, or your sales are going to lower as well? Because what can happen most of the time is that whenever you are going to optimize your bids, because there are different placements where your ad is going to show up, right, top of search, which is going to be wherever like everyone wants to showcase their product on top of search, because that is a prime real estate. Whenever someone is seeing your product there, highly likely they are going to consider it and buy it. Therefore, that is the most expensive. Now, if you have an 80% ACOS that is converting, and you're going to optimize your bids, aka lower your bids in this case, what can happen is that you're going to showcase your product in a different placement. A different placement can be a product detail page, or it can be a rest of search page. So product detail page is going to be maybe on someone else's, your competitor's product detail page, ones that you're going to scroll down. Rest of searches is anywhere else besides these two placements. So that's why I'm saying it's really important that once that you're optimizing towards profit, you're keeping a very close eye on your sales, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to reduce our bids so much that it's just going to end up on just generating clicks, because those clicks, even if they are cheaper right now, they are showcasing your product in other placements. So when it comes to prioritization, I would look into what is your current ACOS, what is your target ACOS, what is your current sales revenue from that campaign or from that keyword, and what is the placement that is converting best for you, and then look into, okay, so if I'm going to reduce my bids, can I still stay on the same placement that is converting best for me and also keep the sales? Then you would have a winning strategy. Different campaigns, we have to choose different important keywords for different. So Sadia just wrote, ad types, campaign types. Then we have to choose different important keywords for different campaigns, 3 manual campaigns and auto campaigns. Yes, these are the most crucial things that you should be knowing. The next thing, Sadia, is going to be the break-even ACOS. Finding main keyword sometimes becomes tough. Solution, yes. So the way how you are going to find your main keyword, you are going to go on Amazon and type whatever you think your product is. Once that you are going to type that, whatever you think your product is, look up all the competitors or all the other products that are going to showcase on this search. Are they exactly the same product as yours or they are not? Because if they are not exactly the same product as yours, it might be that the keyword that you're looking for, it is not the highest relevant keyword for your item. So what product do I have here that are... Okay, so here, for example, I have my blue light glasses here, and these are, I'm not sure how much were they, but these are not the cheapest, because they're like cheaper version of this one, like 20 bucks, 15 bucks. These were like 60 bucks, something like that. So these are blue light glasses. Because whenever someone would look for my product, for this product, blue light glasses, for them, it's going to be important. Then the next thing, even if these are blue light glasses, if my product is 60 bucks and the others are 14 bucks or 50 bucks, maybe they are 2 pairs even for the 14 or 15 bucks, then you're going to compete not only for the perfect keyword that is going to showcase the product, but also for products that are cheaper. So in that solution, what you can look into is also maybe longer tail keywords. So this can be as blue glasses for women. That is a longer tail keyword, meaning it has more words within that sentence as well. Those would be my tips to check out keyword solutions. Also, I can suggest Helium 10. This is a software that we are going to usually use to check on relevant keyword, whatever our competition is using. But again, if you're really interested in PPC, honestly, if I were you, the topics and all the lessons and tutorial that I put together on my YouTube channel, check out my name, Noemi Bolojan. That's Noemi Bolojan. If you're going to watch even 20% of my content, it's going to put you on a path towards success, because all those things that I'm sharing there are things that we are actively doing by managing over 5 million in ad spend. So that's why I'm saying, if you want to learn PPC, amazing. Also watch my videos there, because those are the things that I wish that I had available for me 5 years ago when I started Amazon PPC. So parchment paper versus baking paper. You know, the easiest for me is going to be if. So right now I am on Amazon. Is there a way to showcase my screen? Let me see. Maybe. Okay, screen share. Window. Okay, so I'm showcasing my window right now. You are asking about parchment paper versus baking paper. So parchment paper, look what is showing up: parchment paper, parchment sheets, parchment squares, parchment paper sheets, parchment paper for baking, parchment paper roll, parchment paper for air fryer. So which one would describe better the product? Because if it is only parchment paper, you can just do that and then look up, okay, what are the next things that... This is all autofill that is showing up there. Sadia, that someone else typed whenever they were looking up on Amazon. Oh, wait. I'm not adding my screen. There you go. Would have been helpful to see also my screen in the meantime, right? Okay, wait. There you go. And there's no way to switch my screen. I'm going to nail this. Just let me. We're almost there. Yeah, this is the best. Okay. So right now, as I was writing parchment paper, so parchment, look, this is autofill. This is Amazon autofill. Now, whenever you would do parchment paper, you just write parchment, the very first word, and then you would see, okay, which are the keywords that are highly likely would be relevant to my product. unbleached parchment paper. I did not even know that such thing exists. So you would look into, is my product unbleached? You can add this as quality, and then you can have this as a keyword that you could be maybe using in your SEO and also your PPC. Parchment paper roll, parchment paper for air fryer, parchment paper cupcase liner, parchment paper sheet. So all these could be really good keywords for you. Now what I would do on my end is also I would look up into parchment paper, have this in a broad match, and then see which are the things that are totally not relevant to a parchment paper. Maybe it's not for a cupcake. Then you can add as negative exact the word cupcake, and then you would not show up for that. But if I'm going to write parchment paper, then the next words or keywords are going to be parchment paper sheets, parchment paper for baking, unbleached, paper roll for air fryer, and so on. So then it's going to be paper, more of these sheets for baking. So this way you're going to see directly from Amazon what is going to showcase. And then baking paper, let's see. I think it has to do with, okay, so baking paper, this is how they're writing it. Paper for baking and cooking, parchment paper for baking and cooking. So baking paper, seemingly it's not as much looked up for, especially in the US, but it might be, look here, baking paper cups, baking paper roll. So what I would do on my end, I would look up for baking paper, what comes up, and also for parchment paper, what comes up, and then see, hey, are these relevant for my product? Add both of them, see which one converts better. Appreciate your patience. Of course, my pleasure. About sales to review ratio, which is the key feature. That's sales to review ratio. That is a very, very complex question that you're asking, not beginner at all. But basically, the idea there is going to be whenever you would. Honestly, now in 2025, I'm not sure if anything changed, and my expertise is really Amazon PPC. But the idea with sales to review ratio, it's really important that you are going to generate sales. Like you're going to generate more sales than the reviews that are coming in. And there, a trick there, what it could be is that if you're going to enroll in the Vine review program, something that I would definitely recommend is that way you can have more reviews if basically you are going to give away maybe 40 items or 50 items. I'm not sure what is right now the limit there. Even if you're going to give away 50 items and you're going to get back 50 reviews from Amazon, Amazon is going to see those as, hey, you give away your product for free, you enrolled in our program, so you're going to get free reviews, therefore that it's all cool. Now what might happen is that if you're not going to roll into that program, but you're just going to get reviews out of the blue, maybe from a different channel, maybe from friends and family, maybe from other services, it's really important that you are going to make at least 2 to 3 sales or even 5 sales to 1 review to come in. Simple reason, think logically. How many reviews ever did you left on Amazon? I know that at some point I wanted to participate into the Vine Reviewer program, and I started to leave reviews on all the products that I purchased. I was like, oh yeah, it's going to work, it's going to work. Besides that, I never leave reviews, no matter how much amazing the product is. Most people are not going to leave reviews unless they're unhappy with the product. And this is really like how we act, you know? So that's why I'm saying it's really important that if you're going to set up the Vine review program for you, that is a huge green light. Otherwise, if they're going to come in reviews from friends and family or from other people or from other channels even, Amazon might flag them as there are too many reviews coming in versus how many sales are you making. Hope that makes sense. Okay, why do Amazon PPC ads end up losing money for so many sellers? What are the hidden reasons? Yeah, this is a really good question. Why people end up losing money. And honestly, I think it's not as much about losing money, but about not assessing that Amazon PPC ads, first off, it is a marketing cost. Now, if you're a business, you would know that marketing cost is one of those things that you cannot neglect. If you have word of mouth, that's still marketing for which you probably are not paying. But on Amazon, in order to make sales, you would need to spend on Amazon ads, right? If you're not spending on Amazon ads, maybe you're spending on Facebook ads, Google ads, or so on. That is still spend, that is still marketing budget. So I would not define it necessarily as, how did you put it, end up losing money for so many sellers. I would put it rather than that is the data that we need in order to see what is the feedback to our product. Because if we don't have a feedback for our product, what we're going to end up with is that one, there's no traffic. Basically, without ads, there's no traffic unless you're generating external traffic. And then two, what is going to happen is that no one is going to see our product. So all the hard work that you invested so much in, it's just not going to be recognized, and you basically don't have a business, right? So that's why I'm saying, yes, at the beginning, it might be that once that you're starting, you're going to lose money. But here, again, lose money is not the correct term. Is you're going to invest in gathering data and finding out what people like, what people don't like. By what people like, what people don't like is which are the keywords that are converting for your product, which are the keywords that are not converting for your product. And from there, you're going to optimize. It's as any business process. You're going to learn more about what works, what doesn't work, whatever it's not working, you're trying to get rid of. Whatever works already, you're trying to duplicate it. Maybe if it's a keyword that came up in a discovery campaign, maybe in an auto campaign, you would move that keyword in a manual campaign, maybe in phrase, broad match, or even exact match. So that's the way how I would look at it, rather than why do Amazon PPC ends up in losing money for so many sellers. And then a second reason that it could be is also maybe you're bringing traffic to the listing, but the traffic is not relevant. So then we would look into how can we optimize our current efforts when it comes down to our ads. One is the targeting on point. Are we targeting the correct keywords? Because if we're not targeting the correct keywords or the correct targets, asins, products, or what we can end up with is that we are literally wasting money on things that are never going to convert. And then the third thing is that can loss is you are not optimizing quick enough. So you have all the information, all the data, and you're just choosing to ignore it. And this is one of the things that you would not believe, but so many people, especially people who are going to just come and just going to say, hey, here it is, my campaigns, do an audit for me. They never downloaded their search reports ever, or they downloaded it very rarely. So maybe once in 3 months, 4 months, so on. What we're doing on a weekly basis and then also every month, so every monthly basis, we are downloading these reports, because if we don't find out exactly the triggers that are causing us loss in sales, basically, because it's going to take up from your budget, right? And it's not converting. Those are the things that we would be looking into. So quick summary, the first things that you would be looking into. One, PPC, it is your marketing budget that any business needs. Two, targeting can be off. That also can trigger unprofitable marketing for you. And three, how quickly are you optimizing your ads is going to pile up again with unprofitable spend. So that is how I would put it, rather than losing money. Okay. How do I figure out exactly which search terms actually brought in sales in a sponsored product campaign? So great question. The way to do so, we just touched base a bit about that. It was by downloading your search term reports. That is something that you can find under the measurement tab, if I'm correct. And what you would do on your end, since you're talking about sponsored products, so we have search term report for all the ad types. I was just explaining to Sadia that we have 4 ad types. For each ad type, you have the report itself. So in this case, what you would be doing, you're going to measurement the reports and then download your sponsored product search term report for the past 30 days and ensure that once that you're going to do that, don't choose the daily, but choose the summary, and then just wait a few minutes, hit refresh. Once you're going to get that, you're going to get a summary of all the search terms that did convert it for you, that did not convert it for you, and really importantly, from the ones that did convert it for you, which were the more profitable ones and which were the ones that were too expensive. So once that you have that, then you basically just figured out the exact search terms that actually brought sales in the sponsored product campaign. Next question that is quite relevant for this is going to be, what's the easiest way to analyze and choose the most relevant keywords for my Amazon PPC? Okay, this is very similar to what Sadia was asking. The way to do so is going to be exactly the same process that I showed you. Go on Amazon, open up in an incognito a window and see if I'm going to describe my product with my own words, the way how I would look up for my the way how I would look up my product. Am I going to find my exact product? And if so, that means that that is a very relevant keyword for whatever my product is. Now, if you're going to describe your product maybe in a different way, or maybe if you're from the US, you're going to use a term that is quite often used in Australia or even UK, it could be that those exact terms, they're not going to convert the same way here in the US. So people from the US, they are going to type something different, search for the product in a different way. So that's going to be really important that, okay, once that you understood that you know how to define your product, what is something that people would search for, and that is highly relevant to your product, that is your winner keyword. Another question from Sadia, exact or better or broad? Exact is better or broad. So the question is relevant to the which keywords match type should we use. It really comes down to 2 things. If this is a product launch, what I would advise you to do, use exact match. Reason for that is because if you have the exact match for the keyword, that exact term or very like synonyms that are very, very similar to that are going to be triggered by that keyword. Now, if you're going to choose a broad, then as I just show you with a parchment paper, it's going to trigger, for example, parchment paper, it's going to trigger all the other keywords that are might or might not be relevant. And there, what it's going to end up with, you're going to get a lot of search terms that maybe they're longer tail keywords that might be super relevant for your product and they might convert even lower than exact match. So what I would advise is that if this is a product launch, what I would do is, if I know my 5 keywords or 10 keywords, depending on how much budget do you have, I would separate them in different campaigns, 1 keyword per campaign. So that way I would know exactly, okay, so this is the budget that I'm allocating for that campaign. Really important whenever you would do exact match is going to be more expensive than broad match or phrase match or auto matches. Now that is because whenever you are going to target that exact search term, that is the exact search term that you're going to get the sale for, right? Whenever it comes down to broad match or phrase match or auto campaigns, you can definitely create those as well, but keep in mind that there the bids should be way lower than the exact match campaigns, because the exact match campaign, if it's going to trigger the search term, it is 1-to-1. If it's a broad match, it's going to trigger search term. It can be 1-to-10, 1-to-20, 1-to-100 even, different search terms, which means that it might be that you're going to get 100 clicks for different keywords that have maybe the same word, the same root, paper, for example, or parchment within the keyword itself, but is not going to describe exactly your product. So this is why I'm saying that technically it's going to be easier for you to set up an exact match campaign, because then you can see, okay, I got 10 clicks, I got 1 sales. That means I have a 10% conversion rate. With the broad match campaign, I got 100 clicks and I got maybe 1 sale. But then those 100 clicks have to be way, way cheaper for you to afford to spend that. Because if you're going to spend the exact same budget for both the broad match as a CPC, so per bid, and both for the exact match, you will see that there's a high difference between conversion rate between these two. Let me know if this makes sense. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. But really, again, just feel free to go to my channel. It's completely free. Honestly, it's the stuff that I wish that I learned before even dabbling into Amazon PPC. Okay, new question. How can I analyze my competitors and use that info to run smarter Amazon PPC campaigns? Great question. This is, Sadia, if you're still here, this is also something that you can listen to. I also created a video about that. You can use Helium 10 here, and Helium 10 is one of the softwares that we are using to check out our competitors, check out which are the keywords that they are converting best for, and then see how can we, if we're going to implement those keywords either in our PPC strategy, either in our SEO, so the keywords that we're using on the front end and back end of the listings, can help us achieve the goal. So that could be one of the ways how you can analyze it. Now, there are also so many different tools and softwares that are using this. I'm just saying Helium 10 because that is something that there's a ton of content out on how to do it, and also I personally created content on exactly how would I use it. Okay, one more thing from Sadi here. I couldn't find the main keyword for parchment paper. Helium was giving baking tray. That's an interesting finding. I'm very curious if this was for the product that already is out there and you're selling, or is this for keyword research for a product that you want to sell. The reason for that is that if Helium 10 is saying that it's a baking tray, probably you're also ranking for baking tray. But if the product is really a parchment paper, it means that you are not being indexed correctly, or people are not looking for your product, buying it as parchment paper. So that could be the reason why. Okay, let's go. What to say today? Great question. Okay, so I love this one. What does day-to-day Amazon PPC management actually involves? Love these questions we did. Okay, so what does it involves? Well, it involves campaign creation. We were talking about campaign creation. That is one of the pillars. Second, it's going to involve proper management. When we are talking about management, we're talking about optimizing our bids, negating keywords, maybe pausing targets that are irrelevant, maybe pausing within the campaign products that we are advertising that are not relevant. So that would be the management side. What else it involves? So that's the management side. We also do for the management inventory projections and forecasting, and this is on a week-to-week basis, just to ensure that there's no inventory left that is an old inventory and we just like it was not strictly under our eyes, and just like we have that type of inventory. So that is also what management involves. Reporting is also one part of the process that it involves. Basically, reporting, many consider that reporting is for clients. Honestly, for us, reporting is for ourselves, to check ourselves that we are staying accountable to whatever we want to achieve, whatever goal it was. And also, it's a transparency sheet that we are sharing with the brands that we're managing, that look, these are the steps that we took, this is the outcome. If we hit target, amazing. If we are above target, amazing. If we are below target, still amazing. We're going to look into why are we below target, and potential things that next time we can do better so we are not. So that would be also that side. What else? Certain reports, generating the certain reports is one more part of this. We were talking about keyword negation, but certain reports, we are using it for two main things. For downloading the certain reports to see which are the keywords that are converting best, for downloading that to see which are the keywords that we should be creating new campaigns with, and also to see which are the keywords that we should be negating, either on an account level, either on a product level. So those would be the things that are really top of mind right now. I feel like I'm still like, I feel like there's more there, but these would be the main things that the day-to-day management would involve. One more thing again that we're doing here at Scaleway, we have a daily history log, which basically means that on a daily basis, our account managers are going to log in, and anything that they did on the account is going to be logged into the account. Why we have this is, again, we consider that accountability and transparency is our like number one reason why we have the brands that we have and why they stick with us. But two is going to be, we are human, we forgot. So if we don't have a simple thing of check mark on I did this because and this was the outcome, it's going to be very hard for us to look back into, okay, what happened 2 weeks ago if it's not recorded, So imagine as if it's meeting minutes, the same thing happens also here. And then what else do we do on the day-to-day? So that is more on the management side. Now, when it comes down to strategy, that is something that we would do on a monthly basis. It's still part of, I would say this is more strategic approach plus management, but that is also something that we would look into on a monthly basis, how close or how far are we to hitting our quarterly goals. Let me know if that helped. One more thing that is not necessarily management, but also something that we're doing is learning. So the same way how you guys are attending this session today and just asking questions, the same way we are attending conferences, we are watching YouTube videos, we are taking training. So that is still part of the, the strategic approach. Why? Because if we are learning something really cool, we are applying to a client's account, they are, the strategy, it works well for them. Again, we generated additional income from them. So that is also part of the management that I'm seeing. But if it does come down to the main, basic, simple is campaign creation, bid optimization, keyword research, and negation. Those would be the main things or the basic things that you should be doing anyhow. Yeah, okay, so Sadia just explains that baking paper, not baking tray for UK market during, that's exactly what I was saying. So it's very, very important because we've also managed on different other accounts, like different marketplaces, the same product, and people were saying, we're calling it differently. So this is why it's really important that if you are selling on the UK market, you are looking up for the exact way how someone would look up your product for the UK market. If you're selling on the US market, you would look up the exact keywords that someone would be searching your products with. I believe that in Helium 10, there is a way how to search the exact marketplace. I believe they had this a while back. I have not checked this so far because we are managing mainly on the US for our brand. But yes, there is a certain way how people would call, for example, in the UK, a certain product, and in the US, they're not going to call it the same way. So that's really an important mark there. Okay, another question from Sadias. How many maximum number of campaigns should be created for one product? There's not as much as maximum number of campaigns. There is more of what is the purpose of creating campaigns. So in the ad console, you can create, I think, up to 10,000 campaigns, something like that. But the question here is going to be, why would you be creating multiple campaigns? And then the second thing, how much budget do you have? Assuming it is a limited budget. By limited budget, I mean that you have a limit of budget that you want to spend. So let's think of it logically. If you're going to create 5 campaigns, each campaign you're going to dedicate $10, assuming that for the $10 you're going to gather enough meaningful information for you to decide which campaign works best, and then maybe reallocate budget for those campaigns. You still are going to spend at least $50 per day per ads, which is $1,500 per month. If you're going to do that, maybe if you're going to add $20 as budget for each campaign, you're going to end up with spending $100 per day, which is $3,000. So the way how I'm seeing it is that there should not be necessarily multiple campaigns if there's no strategy behind. But if you are saying, hey, I want to create for these 5 keywords, five campaigns, it makes sense. But just for the sake of creating multiple campaigns, maybe it would not make sense. But happy to chime in if there's like a specific thing. Probably you were thinking of something specific and did not like. Let me know if that is the case, because I'm happy to answer. Okay, we answered this question. Okay, next question here. 0 impression. Why do some of my PPC campaigns get 0 impressions even though I set everything up? Love the question. There are a few reasons that I would like you to rule out. The first reason, it is not PPC related and it's going to be inventory. Do you have inventory for the product? As if you don't, what you're going to end up with is like probably there are going to be 0 impressions on that product. Second thing is going to be right now that product listing is the listing suspended for any reasons. What we notice whenever we got a listing suspension, ads are not going to run. So ads are going to stop and then nothing is going to happen. So that is really, really important. Listing suspensions can happen for so many reasons. In this scenario that I'm right now talking about, that we just like discovered that there were no impression, no spends at all, and we're like, what is going on? Because we were bidding high enough. What happened? Simply the price, I think it was a price adjustment, and our something like we lost the buy box. So if you're losing the buy box, even you're not going to get impressions. So first I would rule out all the non-PPC factors, and once that I ruled out those factors, I would look into PPC factors. When it comes down to Amazon PPC factors, you would look into my CPC. So am I bidding high enough for the conversion to happen? If I'm not bidding high enough, if I get 0 impression, it means that I should be increasing my bid. So that is also something. Something else that can happen is that really you are not indexing at all for that particular keyword and like nothing is showing up. In that case, what we would be doing is we just open a case with Amazon and ask them, okay, hey, this is something that we noticed on our end. Could you look into on the back end if there's some issues that we're not seeing right now? So those would be the first 3 things that I would look into. Okay, negating keywords on a campaign level, that is the next question. So yes, you can negate keywords. This is relevant to how do we negate keywords, and I'm going to answer this because also one question that was submitted is how do I use negative targeting in Amazon PPC and when should I actually apply it? So I'm going to answer both your questions, Hadi, and this question. Basically, what should you be doing is whenever you're negating keywords, it means that you are using these keywords that are totally not relevant to your product that you don't want to show up for. There are 2 options how you can negate keywords. One is going to be an exact match, meaning that whenever someone is going to type that exact match, they're not going to find, or Amazon is not going to show your product for it. There's also a phrase match, which means, for example, if paper, let's say the word paper is a phrase match, negative phrase match, it means any keyword that contain the word paper are not going to show up. So what I would highly suggest is use exact match rather than a phrase match, because you don't want to end up by mistake to add a keyword that is very relevant to your product. Yet, if you're going to add it as phrase match, you're not going to convert. Now, back to Sadia's question. So yes, what you can do, you can negate on 2 different levels. You can negate on a campaign level, and then you can also negate on an ad group level. Now here, quick feedback. Whenever you're going to negate on, right now, if you're going to create a new campaign in Seller Central, what you can do, you can negate that on an ad group level. Only you cannot negate on a campaign level. And this is something that you're going to see only once that you created the campaign. So what I suggest here is I would still stick to at group level. I like to negate at an at group level simply because then I know that anytime whenever we are negating something, it is on an ad group level. We are not using more than one ad group per campaign anyhow. So that means that if we are creating a one campaign, that one ad group is going to be negated with the keywords that we're adding. So that is just our process to keep things simple. If you want to do the negation via campaign level, it's totally fine. It's just like for us to have it as a system. If anyhow, when you're creating the campaign, whatever negatives you're going to add is going to be on ad group level. And if we're using only the one ad group, we thought it's more logical to moving forward only negate on an ad group level rather than campaign level. Hope it helps. Being beginner, my questions were also from a beginner's fan. I absolutely love it. This is why I encourage you totally share everything, ask everything. Keep in mind that these questions are the ones that are going to put the fundamentals and the pillars right now to your understanding. So this is why I'm like, hey, ask these questions, because most of the time people, what are they asking me? What is the latest hack? What is the latest strategy? How can I scale? How can I do you have inventory? Ask, do you have inventory? And it's like, oh, I don't have inventory. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, I don't have this. Okay, then first let's fix the foundation. And then once that the foundations are fixed, next, I know all the hacks as well. It's no problem. I'm teaching all these things here and also on my YouTube channel. It's just I want to assure that you're thinking rather than copying something. And then the thing is that I started with hacks, and what I realized is that I was not able to think for myself and put things logically because it was the latest hack, the latest strategy, and then, man, I couldn't think for myself. So this is why I'm like, let's get back to foundation, bids, targets, keywords, campaigns, how much percentage of your ad spend should go there. Once that you're learning that, and once that you're learning that goes hand in hand with inventory, you are a winner, and then you can just double down on what already works for you. So love it. All right, we have 3 more minutes, and I'm going to take the last question. Let me go quickly through this. Okay, one more question that I think it's interesting. How do you run Amazon ads specifically for wholesale products? Is it different from private label? It is not different from private label. You would run them exactly the same way how you would run for private label products. We also managed a few accounts that were wholesale. Now, the only thing there is that what we noticed, because you are wholesaling these products, you would have a different profit margin. Like, for example, if this is my own private label brand, maybe I would have a 40% profit margin. If this is a wholesale product, probably you are going to have lower profit margin. So that's why when we would manage wholesale accounts, we would look into, okay, the same way, what are the cost of goods and what is your break-even ACOS? And probably for those products, if you had a 50% break-even ACOS, if it's not, or even 40%, if it's a private label product, probably for those products it's going to be 30 or 20. So the idea is that you just have to adjust. Besides putting the cost of goods sold, is what is your profit margin? That's the only difference, honestly. There's no other difference between these. Okay, the last one. Let's wrap up with beginner questions. I love this one. I'm going to read it out for you guys. So, can you explain in simple terms what Amazon PPC is and how it actually works? Love it. Let me explain in the very simplest terms, and I'm also going to wrap up today's session with this one. Amazon PPC, or pay-per-click ads, brought from Amazon, is simply a channel that is going to allow you to bring eyeballs to your product. Once that you brought eyeballs to your product, Amazon PPC ads are going to help you generate sales. Now, very important, it becomes very relevant. What type of eyeballs are you bringing to your product? Are those people who are genuinely interested in buying the product right away? Are they window shoppers thinking that, okay, this is a decor item, maybe I'm thinking buying it, and probably I'm just going to add it to my cart, but I end up not buying it? Those are also people or eyeballs that are considering your product. So next is going to be those people who you brought to your listing via Amazon PPC. When are they going to buy? Are they going to buy immediately? Is this something that is urgent? I don't have detergent, I'm going to buy that right away. Versus, oh, look at that, that's such a nice sofa. I'm thinking maybe to redesign my room. I'm going to add it into my cart and then I'm going to save it for later. I clicked on it, but never converted. So based on that, if it's I need it right away, it's going to convert way quicker than a product that is more design related, more it takes more time people to decide should they buy it, should they not. Clear? Okay, so once that we understand these two principles, next is going to be conversion. Once that you brought those eyeballs to the listing and assuming that these are people who are going to buy right away your product, we are going to convert them or not. I like to put it, we're going to persuade them or not with the images that we're showcasing. The images are telling more than 1,000 words, 1,000 keywords. Look at this super cute cup. Now, this cute cup right now, it was a gift for me, so I did not purchase it, but my sister did look through so many images, so many things, and it was like, yes, this is her. I'm going to get her that cup. And believe me that she was looking through all the products, pictures, and looking into like why people love this and so on and so forth. So the images and then the pricing as well, it was an important metric for my sister to decide on that. So think of it eyeballs, the listing that is converting or not, and then basically just doing more of whatever it's converting. If it's not converting, you would look into why it's not converting. But in a nutshell, that's how Amazon PPC works. Hope that answered your question. All right. So this is great. Thank you so much for everyone attending. Thank you for all the amazing questions. Keep up the good work. Ask all the questions. Ask all the questions that seem beginner, because everyone was a beginner at some point. Maybe did not ask the questions, and that is a major flaw that I'm seeing most people are making, because it's like, oh, how can I ask that question? That is a beginner question. You're not going to ask it. You are going to make mistakes on your own when actually other people already gone through all those things and they can answer right away, and you can learn from their mistakes. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys. Have an amazing Tuesday ahead, and hope to see you next week, the same day and time. Take care. Bye.